Hey, what's up guys? It's UA here, and I'm going to be bringing you guys a video where I watch a tournament match, break it down, and really go into detail and give some good analysis on this game. So, let's get into it. First off, this game is between Liquid Demu versus EL.CSOH. This game is from a tournament. This tournament was hosted by this guy called Energy. So the name of this tournament is called Energy Slapfest. Huge appreciation. Huge thank you to Energy. He's a new guy who I think he's fairly new to the AOE IV community, and he's been really getting into it. And he hosted this tournament. He provided all the funds for the tournament. So yeah, huge thank you to Energy. And yeah, let's get into this. So both these players advanced to the round of 8. So this is a quarterfinal match. And it is a best of 5. So this is going to be game 1 in this best of 5. And I have here the draft. So both of the players banned Ottoman and Rus. And I believe the Civ selection will be from the middle to the outside. So Demu's first Civ selected would have been Mongols. CSOH's first Civ selected would have been JD, and then English, and then Delhi, and so on. And let's look at the map. So game 1 is Himeyama, probably mispronouncing it. Game 2 is being played on Frisian Marshes, and then game 3 is Gorge, and then the following games, we'll talk about that later. But I'll just give you the maps for at least the first 3 games. Yep, so this is best of 5, first to win 3. And so it looks like game 1 it is Himeyama, and we can see that Demu decided to play as Malians here, and CSOH decided to play as the British. Interesting Civ choices here. I think CSOH's Civ choice is kind of the more meta Civ choice for this map because English is really good on this map. There's a pond in the middle map, with fish that you can build dock on to increase your economy. So English can use their villagers in Age 1 to secure the pond, since English villagers can shoot their bow and arrow, and it can basically prevent the opponent from building a dock and allow the English player to build a dock. So I think English is very, very good on this map because of that. So yeah, very meta pick from CSOH, makes a bunch of sense. And if we look at Liquid Demu's Civ choices, Demu choosing the Malians is interesting. I would say that Mongols would probably be the most kind of obvious choice to pick here. I think Mongols are also extremely good on this map. However, Frisian Marshes is game 2. So Mongols are extremely good on Frisian Marshes. So I think Demu might have wanted to save Mongols for that specific map. And Malians is a civ that can also probably be fairly good on Himeyama. So it was interesting to see, Demu save Mongols for a different map. I kind of disagree with it. If I was in Demu's shoes, I think I would pick Mongols here. But obviously he did not, so we'll see how it goes for him. Alright, so we're going to get into the game here. I'm going to try to watch the replay back and really break it down, very in-depth, like hyper analyze this game, and I hope you guys enjoy this. If you guys do enjoy this video, leave a like, comments, subscribe, all that good stuff, blah blah. But yeah, let's get into this game. Alright guys, we're getting into game 1 here in this best of 3. Let's get after Liquid Demu versus CSOH on Himeyama. Demu playing as the Malians and CSOH playing as the English here. So real quick before we get into it, let me know how my voice is compared to the game sound. This is the first time I'm using some new settings in a bit, first time I'm kind of doing this. So leave a comment, if I think the game sounds kind of quiet, but let me know if my voice is too loud compared to game sound, if I can turn up the game sound or not. Let me know. Okay, anyways, let's get into this. Okay, so yeah, English versus Malian. So the one reason why I really like playing English on this map is because they can easily get control of this middle dock. So right now I'm seeing CSOH is actually ignoring the middle dock, which is shocking to me. Like, I would have thought that would have been the entire reason why he picked English. So yeah, this is a very weird start, in my opinion. The fact that CSOH, he doesn't have villagers on wood and he's not building a dock right now is very surprising to me. And if he just plays this like a regular land map, then the matchup is actually very Malian favored. I think Malians are very favored in this matchup. Like if you play on Dry Arabia, if you treat it like a regular land map. So now all of a sudden, it went from me thinking like, oh, CSOH had a really good Civ pick for this map, a really good matchup where he should be favored because he can make a dock in it at the start of the game. He can make fishing boats. It can buff his economy. He gets map control, just like automatically. But for some reason, he's not opening dock, which is shocking to me. So yeah, now my opinion's changed, and now I think Demu is the one who has the very large advantage because I think Malians, in a way, Civ counter English, or they can be very good versus English. So yeah, we'll have to see how this one gets played out. We'll kind of fast forward a bit. So nothing crazy is happening right now. Demu just did the pit mine in age 1 and then built 6 houses, which is the standard default build for Malians. You just put your villagers on one straggler tree, you chop through one entire tree, and that gives you enough wood for 6 houses in the pit mine. And then you go back into the sheep, which is just completely normal. And if we look at CSOH, he's just doing a regular like age 1 with English, 2 villagers on gold mine. You know, rest of those. Okay, now he's veering off. So he's setting up his macro to start aging. Looks like he did overgather gold a little bit. Usually, he's now built a mining camp. So it looks like EL.CSOH wants to do a fast second town center. So usually when you're going for a fast second town center, you want to age up correctly. Basically, he overgathered 12 gold. Not a huge amount, but it is something. Usually you want to like click on the gold mine, and you can see right now the gold mine has 3,888 gold in it, and in order to start aging up to H2, the number should be 3,900. So you see he has 12 gold extra that he gathered. If his macro would have been a little bit better, he could have been more on top of it. And you click on the gold mine and you basically watch it. So once you see it like 3,910 in 3,909, 876, you keep an eye on it. And then as soon as you see that it's 3,900, you select your 2 villas and you force chop off the gold, and you'll have exactly 200 gold. Exactly enough gold to start aging up to H2, and then that way, this 12 gold instead, it could be like 12 stone, or it could be 12 wood, right? So he, it's a small detail, but yeah, he just overgathered slightly. But yeah, so looks like his game plan is to do a fast second town center here, which is okay versus Malians, but I really dislike this because if the English does a fast second town center, then Malians can basically get away with doing their cow boom like completely for free. Like if Malians go unthreatened, like unpressured, then they could just make like 0 units, just do a massive cow boom, go up to H3 very quickly with the Frimba landmark, and just have an insane economy with that landmark. So that's kind of how this game is shaping up, and it's looking to be very much in favor of Demu. Like I said, I mean, I can't really repeat this enough. The fact that both of them, I mean, it's obvious that Demu is going to kind of ignore the pond here, but the fact that CSOH is ignoring the pond, I think is a huge mistake for him. Yeah. But yeah, so you're seeing he's just going to be building a second town center. Goal is basically to drop the second TC as soon as he hits H2. And yeah, same thing with the stone mine. You click on stone mine. When the stone mine reads 850, that means you have the exact amount of stone for a second town center. So you can force chop off. It looks like he overgathered stone by 4 stone. Not huge. Very small number. But yeah, you can sometimes get it perfect to the literal exact number. Like, it would be a really big issue if he, like, right now, if he overgathered by, like, 34 or, like, 50 stone, right? That's more of an issue. Overgathering by 4, very small amounts. And now he's back onto the gold. So he's building and another thing, he's building second town center, but he's also building it extremely defensive. Which is kind of strange, because you're gonna assume that the Malian player is gonna play extremely defensive and just greedy and boomy. So it kind of gives English the possibility to build their second town center on top of some hunts. I mean, there's a chance that the Malian player could scout the stone and then go for like warrior scouts, but still English villas have have the bow, so the English villas would be able to shoot and maybe push back the scouts. So these are 2 mistakes, what I would consider mistakes from CSOH already, is that Number one, just the strategy going for fast second town. Well, okay, let's go 3 mistakes actually. Mistake number 1, he didn't build dock, which is crazy to me. Number 2, he's doing a fast second town center versus Malians, which I think is just a big mistake. And then number 3, he had a free opportunity to build a town center on hunts, and he didn't take that opportunity. Like, imagine he could have built the town center right here on this hunt, and there's also a boar that's close to the hunt. So, and you can use your scout to pull the boar closer, and he could have killed the boar like right here, right next to the hunt, and have the TC right here. And anytime you can do that, a town center is like insane. It's like incredibly strong, because you have a town center that is on top of a pack of deer and a boar. So your villas, can gather from that extremely quick boar and be safe, and then go onto the deer. So it's like an insane amount of food that they can gather from, with like no walking distance and safely. Compared to, look at this, like CSOH, instead of building the TC here and getting this insane spawn, he had spent 50 wood to build a mill, and now he's spending 100 wood to build a tower, when he could essentially, have, and it's a hunt without the boar. Like, it would have, even though he did this mill and tower, it would make more sense for the mill and tower to be here, because So yeah, I feel like this is just another mistake. I mean, taking this hunt instead of taking this hunt's kind of weird. And yeah, he could have saved so much if it was just the town center here and not the tower and the mill. Yeah, like I said, the counter argument would be, oh, maybe the Malian player would build a stable and warrior scouts and maybe kill a build before the TC gets built, but not very likely. And even if there is like 1 or 2 warrior scouts that show up, you can use the English villas to attack it. So yeah, I think huge mistakes from CSOH already. And let's take a look at what Malian player is doing, what Demu's doing. He's doing exactly what I predicted. He's making 0 military buildings, 0 military units, and he's just doing a full cow boom. And this, it's kind of interesting. So CSOH, he's obviously a very good player, made it to the quarterfinals in this tournament, so obviously incredibly strong. He's kind of a undercover player. He's played in tournaments in the past and has done quite well in some previous tournaments, but it seems like he's been improving lately, and he's actually Louis MT's, I think he's Louis MT's main practice partner, as him and Louis MT are both in the same clan, EL. So I think, yeah, I believe it's Louis' main practice partner. But it's quite strange that I feel like this is just like game knowledge, like mistake, that CSOH doesn't know that you can't do a second TC versus Malians. Like, I would think that a second TC versus Malians is like literally the worst thing to do versus Malians with English, because you just, like I've been saying, you let the Malian player do a cow boom completely for free. Now Demu is going to build. I'm already going to tell you what's going to happen in this game. So I predicted the cow boom was happening. Now Demu is going to build the Frimba landmark. He's going to, obviously build it right here to increase the cow food generation, and then he's going to build like 3 stables, 2 or 3 stables, as he's like aging up, or just after he hits age 3, and he's going to make like a non-stop the horsemen, whatever their unique name, but he's going to make a ton of those horsemen, and he's going to flood the English player, and the English player will start taking a lot of damage as he's going up to age 3, or even like when he hits age 3, the horsemen are going to be coming, and they're going to keep coming, attacking nonstop. There's going to be like so many reinforcements, because the food income is going to be insane for Demu, and CSOH is just not going to be able to stop it. It's going to be very hard for the English player to pump out military, because the English player might do the 3rd town center landmark to go up to age 3, and then you have to train villas from 3 TCs, which is a lot, and but then also train units. So it's like really hard for English to pump out a lot of units in early age 3. Meanwhile, Demu and Malians, that's like what they're best at. They can crank out like an insane amount of units very quickly in age 3. So that is my prediction. I think that's how this game is going to end. I think this game is going to last like 17 minutes. There's just going to be like 10, 15 of the Kev flooding into the English base, and there's just going to be no response to it. So yeah, that's my prediction. Let's see how this goes. And you can see Demu is being insanely gritty, right? So he did full cow boom. He's completing a full cow boom, 2 mills, so that he can train cows as quickly as possible, training cows from both mills. And behind this, He also did wheelbarrow. He got the wood upgrade. He got the gold upgrade. Now he's getting the food upgrade. And he does not have a single military building. Like, he's just safely going full greed because he scouted that the English player is doing a second TC. Now he's continuing to move his scout around, waiting to see, when are the longbow coming. Meanwhile, CSOH is on the 2 TCs. He grabs some of the hunts here, and now he's starting to farm. Like, going back to my point, like, these farms, the English farms are, of course, extremely, extremely good, but they do still cost resources. If CSOH built his TC here, he would be gathering from this boar and deer, and he would have 0 farms, wouldn't need to build farms for a very long time. But yeah, just a big mistake, I think. This wall is interesting, but honestly, this wall is going to be useless because the cav are going to be flooding into the base, and this wall is kind of just like a villager losing gathering time because he has to walk, and then also costing wood by just building the wall. So it's actually very unintelligent. And boom, big surprise. Demu is doing literally the exact thing that I predicted. He's building, the landmark right here, and he's building 2 stables in transition. Now he drops a blacksmith. He's going to research the blacksmith upgrade, the ranged armor upgrade, to give the horsemen more armor. And as I said already, they're just going to sit underneath the town centers. And okay, as I predicted, the King's Palace is being built by CSOH. And now barracks is being built, but there's just not going to be enough units to deal with the cav that will be coming, is my prediction. And yeah, like I said, I'm shocked that like CSOH doesn't know that. Like, this is exactly how this matchup is played out. And it seems like a big knowledge gap that CSOH like somehow does not have this knowledge. He's not aware of this. So like I said, he's obviously an extremely good player, but it's always interesting to see like what players know, what they don't know, like where their weaknesses are, where their strengths. And this is like just a straight up like game knowledge loss by CSOH if the game continues to go the way as I predict. And as I'm saying, the cav, they're called Sofa. They are now starting to flood. Upgrades are coming in. Pierce armor upgrades are being researched, exactly like I said. There's 2 stables. 2 stables. Okay, now a mosque also being built. So kind of while this is happening, he's also going to collect all the relics from the map to buff his eco. He'll probably drop a 3rd stable here pretty soon also. And so another wall coming down, but this wall is going to be basically irrelevant because the cav will just go. The sofas are already pushing the villas off of this location. And hey, we have like 2 spearmen, 2 feudal age spearmen. It's just not going to be enough. And now CSOH is building more farms. So CSOH just got age 3. He has to make villagers from 3 town centers, and he is now also has to make a bunch of farms just to gather food. So there's like so much resources just being pushed into the economy of the English player. Compared to, like I said, if he took this hunt and this boar, he would not have to make any of these farms. He'd have been in a much better spot. It would be tough to maybe hold this timing here. He would have maybe had to build like the other landmark to keep the TC safe, or he would have maybe had to stage 2. That's like the only thing, but the fact that he has to build all these farms already is going to be huge. And Demu, he's only on 1 TC, so he's only spending 50 wood now for villagers towards his economy. And he has this already insane food generation from the cows that the cavalry will just keep coming non-stop. Now he's upgrading the sofa, which they have this upgrade that gives the sofas +2 armor. So right now they're at 4 ranged armor, and they're gonna get +2 more from that. Let's see if he does. Yeah, I think he only does 1 ranged armor upgrade, because once you get the sofa upgrade, I think it's kind of not relevant to get this H3 ranged armor, because like they're already maxed out on like ranged armor compared to what units like TC fire and what units would be doing, I believe. Yeah, so let's just keep moving forward with the game. It's going literally, exactly as I predicted. We do have a second barracks being placed by CSOH out of desperation. CSOH desperately needs to get a ton of spearmen out to deny this sofa timing. So we'll see if CSOH can do it. He is building walls. Oh, and this is the final wall, so that is actually pretty nice. If he can get the wall fully closed, and then there's like longbows and ranged units that can attack behind the wall that can buy CSOH time, and he can use like villas to repair the wall. So that is a possibility. But the walls are quite long, so in theory Demu could just go attack the water location where the English army is not. So, and then we even got third pit mines coming down. Like this Malian eco is insane. We have a second mosque being built, so he's gonna try to grab both sacred sites and even like 3 relics. But at the same time, CSOH, he hasn't taken damage yet, and he is on 3 TCs. He's at 73 vills, so the English eco can get really wild and can get out of control if this timing doesn't come eventually. And okay, so this is where the game deviated from what I originally thought. I thought Demu was going to flood the horsemen nonstop, as I think he should have. It's actually interesting. I would also say that this is a knowledge mistake from Demu. It should be, like, everything he was doing I think was perfect, but the fact that he's not flooding Cav I think is a mistake from Demu. Like, if we look at his resources right now, he has almost 3,000 food, almost 800 gold. So imagine if all of that was pushed into sofas. Sofas are 120 food, 60 gold. Instead of having, right now he has 8 sofas. Actually, let's see how many he has. He has 12 sofas, I think. Yeah, it looks like he has 12 sofas. So if all of the resources were pushed into more sofas, he would have, like, well, I could do the math, but just kind of like a random guess. I don't know, like, he's at 12 right now. He could probably be at like 30 sofas. I don't know, that's a guess, not even thinking about the math in my head, but just like from feeling, I don't know. He could probably be at like 30 sofas. And let's look at the map right now. Like, 12 sofas look kind of threatening to the English base right now. But imagine, like, what if there were 30 sofas right now? Like, let's look at CSOH. He's not floating any resources at all. Like, he's cranked out full army. Like, it's impossible for him to have like any more military at this moment. He has like 5 spearmen to defend from these sofas. And it's like the TC fire and whatnot. In the 12 sofas, like, can almost idle the eco, but if there was 30 sofas that showed up right now, he could easily kill this army and then force all of the English villas inside the town center and just idle the English eco, and the game, I think the game would end right now if there were 30 sofa. So yeah, I think Demu is making a really big mistake here, by not going for this timing push. It's not a, I mean, yeah, I think he should be ending the game, but with that said, he's taking a different approach, which is also okay-ish. It looks like he's trying to go H4, which can be really good. He's gonna have 4 relics, and he should get both sacred sites, so he is gonna have a lot of economy behind this. But I at the same time, I don't like it, because you're giving English a lot of time to develop their eco, and English eco is also extremely good, and they're very scary in the later stages of the game. So by Demu floating all these resources and kind of going H4, he's pushing the game towards the late game direction. Even if he has like the economic advantage, I don't like the fact that Demu is pushing the game towards him, because I think that gives CSOH a higher chance of coming back in the game. So the interesting thing is that Demu is actually now dropping 3 barracks, and I wonder if that just got scouted by CSOH. His scout just died. I don't know if it's hard to say. He might have. I think his scout did run past the barracks, so he might have saw it. But okay, so yeah, here we go. We do have the H4 landmark coming down, and it is actually forward. It's the landmark one. So it's the landmark one. It's the keep one. It acts as a keep, so it's going to be very hard to push this sacred site. Also, the weird thing is, like, Demu has not captured the sacred sites. I feel like he could be playing for the sacred site timer. He is prioritizing capturing the relics, but I think he should have captured the relics, like, pick up the relic and then get the sacred site. Because he could have started the sacred site timer, like, maybe like 3 minutes ago. And the sacred site timer could be at like 7 minutes. CSOH can't leave his base yet. It would be starting that timer like just that much sooner and putting CSOH on a clock. But he's now going to capture the sacred sites, which, yeah, I mean, it's not, that bad. But I think he could have had the timer going and still been able to protect it. But, since he's going in, maybe he just wouldn't have had enough units to protect the sacred site. So it kind of makes sense that he's just waiting until this landmark maybe gets built to then go for the sacred site condition. And he is dropping, wow, a lot of barracks. So he's dropping 5 barracks. Looks like he's planning for a Mustafati timing? Actually, I don't even know how they are in Imp. That's... I feel like it's okay. I think he's planning for a Imp Mustafati timing, which seems extremely weird. So I was gonna say Man at Arms, but they don't. Yeah, they don't get Man at Arms. Seems very strange, but I feel like there's I feel like Demu kind of put himself so far ahead in the early game and mid game that there's like so many different things that he could do, right? It's hard for him to mess up and lose the game. I think he is doing the incorrect, decisions, but there's a number of things he can do to still win the game. So yeah, we'll see how this game continues to progress. But like I've been saying, now the English Eco is getting to like this pretty scary point where he's on 93 vills. He has his farm transition already developed, and the English army is now looking pretty scary. He's gonna be getting closer and closer to Imp, closer to like enclosures and all the really strong English Imp things. So yeah, I disagree with Demu's decisions, as I've been saying. But yeah, so he looks like he is going for Mustafati timing, which is very interesting. That I'm actually really excited to watch this because I'm not like aware of how good this timing can be. He needs to get one more upgrade to make them elites, and then he's also building Madrasa, it's the university. So he'll probably get elite army tactics from there, I suppose. And then Demu is researching Tithe Barns because he has 4 relics, so that's very good. And meanwhile, CSOH is moving out with his army. Another interesting thing is he did not train a scout, so he has zero vision. Like, if we look at his vision, like, this is what he sees. Like, always so risky to move out with your army with no scout. So I think that is a mistake. The reason why he doesn't have a scout is because he has 0 stables, and he doesn't want to train a scout from the town center because then he's not training a villager. But I think at this point, you should just train a scout from the TC. Like, you have 105 villas. Like, it's not going to matter if you have 104 instead. Or he could build a stable to train a scout. But to have just this little vision, like, look, this giant army is about to close in on you, and like, right, like, you have 0 vision, and oh my god, you can't even see the stealth units because there's no scout. Like, that's another reason. Like, I don't know, just any time to move out with your army without a scout, it is just like psycho to me. So I think this is another mistake for me, CSOH. He does have a strong army, and you could just argue another thing. There's no like tower. I mean, it would be nice if there's a tower to give the network castle bonus for the English army here. And this is like 34 spearmen, longbows. Yeah. So he's gonna try to prevent the sacred site from getting captured. Tower being built here, which is very nice. Getting the Chad arm upgrades for the man arms, but there's actually 0 man arms right now. Which is interesting. I think he maybe scouted Demu's army well. So yeah, I think the English army composition right now I think is very strong. It's actually like a direct counter to this army comp, I feel like. Oh man, get that tower built. Okay, but now we do have elite Mustafati warriors and elite army tactics. So I think Demu may try to take a fight soon. Maybe with this elite army tactic timing, he is gonna have a very strong army and elite Sofa. So CSOH, he's still in H3 and he's popped at 200. Meanwhile, Demu's entire army is the Imp army. So I'm kind of almost a little bit surprised Demu isn't taking a fight now, since both of his army, they're both elite units, and he has elite army tactics on top of that. So this army is like insanely strong right now compared to this army stat wise. But then at the same time, I feel like CSOH's army is like the better army. It counters this army better. I would rather have like spearmen and longbows than like Cav and Mustafati warriors. But sometimes even if you have the kind of like direct counter, if you're so far behind on upgrades, it might not matter. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this gets played out. And yeah, so now like there's actually been like 0 fighting this entire game, and now CSOH has the resources to go Imp, and he's gonna go Imp, and now all of a sudden it's gonna be English and Imp versus Malians and Imp, and like English has a very strong late game, so that's why I think it was a huge mistake by Demu to not go for that the Sofa timing. And it was so weird because he made 2 stables, he made Sofas, He got the blacksmith upgrade, but then he didn't continue with the timing, which I don't know why he. It seemed like he changed his mind, and I'm not really sure why he did. And maybe he feels like it was correct to change his mind, but honest, from when we're observing, obviously we can see more than what the players can see. But I think it was a really big mistake by Demu to not do the timing. As I said multiple times, I think he would have already won the game. So yeah, we'll have to see how the game continues to progress here. So we do have a Berkshire now being built, and it is being built over here, so it will kind of secure this gold mine, and it will also potentially deny the sacred site, but I think he might be building it a little bit too far. It's kind of weird placement, like, and there's, the Berkshire has so much range that, it is really, really good for securing map control, but, like, it can shoot further here. This is the edge of the map. I think what CSOH, I feel like he's being too timid with the landmark. Obviously, he doesn't want to get it denied, but sometimes it builds so quickly that, like, I feel like he could have built it, like, here, a little bit closer, and maybe pulled, like, 30 vills. And even if Demu starts attacking to try to deny it, then CSOH can use his army to attack the opponent's army, and it kind of gets in the situation where, like, yeah, you might kill some of the English vills, but you can't just completely ignore the English army. So the landmark will eventually just get built. Maybe 10 vills will go down in the process, but the landmark will be in just like a significantly better location. So, yeah, I don't know. Just another move that I don't agree with. And now we have a second, but yeah, he did build it here because, as you see, the insane range of the Berkshire does fire into the Sacred Site range. It barely does, right? It only fires into half, so it's yeah. This is honestly it's very poorly built because you kind of build the landmark here so that it's in range of the Sacred Site. So when there's fights underneath the Sacred Site, it can help you to kind of secure it and prevent the opponent from getting a win with the Sacred Site. But this placement just does not do that at all. Like, Demu can just park his army right here, park a priest right here, and not be attacked by the Berkshire and continue to win with the Sacred Site condition. He could just have his army here controlling the Sacred Site. So it partially helps contest the Sacred Site, but, like, at the same time, not really. So yeah, just another mistake in my opinion. And yeah, I don't know if you guys are watching and you feel like, oh, I'm being like over hypercritical of these players, like I'm saying these guys are making mistakes and they're obviously way better than me, or like they're top 8 players, and you're like, I don't know, confused at why I'm doing that. That's kind of, I'm aware they're better players than me, like they qualified this far. The whole point of this video is to be, hyper analyze situations and, yeah, just really analyze things. It doesn't matter if you're literally the best player in the world. The best player in the world does make mistakes. When you're an observer, you can see way more than, the players can see. So we have way more information and knowledge than people that are playing the game, because they don't have God vision as an observer. So yeah, obviously I'm being hypercritical and saying when a player makes mistakes, but that is the point. Okay, so it looks like Demu is now trying to go for timing or just trying to attack. They're both 200 pop. I don't know. There's not really much to do. And this is actually, I don't know. This is a really awkward fight. Like, yeah, this is like a weird fight. Like, look at the choke points right here. Like, Longbow's in perfect choke point. Look at how many units of the Malian army are not attacking. Like, right now, like, probably 70% of the Malian army is not attacking, which is, like, insane, right? Meanwhile, probably 80% of the English army is attacking. So this is, like, a horrible... It's a really bad push by Demu, but... Like it might just not matter because he has so many upgrades at this point. He has elite army tactics. Biology is about to finish, but it would have made more sense for like to try to break the wall here, but then maybe also have half your army break the wall here, and then you could have some guys flood in from this way, right? Like he easily could have broke the wall at 2 different locations and made it easier for his units to get in. Like if you continue to look at the army. Like, look, right? Let's look at how many units are attacking right now for the Malians? CSOH is using the choke points well with his archers, of course, but you could have units coming from this direction, is my point here. Yeah. But, wait, why am I doing something? Yeah, like I said, the Demu has so many upgrades, and there's not really any units to kill the ranged army that the longbows just aren't able to clear this army quick enough. So the army from Malians, even though much of them weren't attacking for a very long time, they eventually are breaking through just because they're so insanely upgraded right now over the English army. And that's kind of the only thing that matters. Like, if you can break through, you break through, right? Demu didn't do it the most optimal, you know, the perfect way. But at the end of the day, Demu broke through into the base. Now he's starting to idle the economy, pushing villagers off the farms, which is, you know, the last thing that CSOH wants right now. And keep kind of emerging, keep trying to be placed down, not many vills. There's just like zero military, so yeah, this keeps going to get denied, and this looks like it's basically just going to be GG. There's just no army from CSOH. It's interesting how quickly that army got wiped. So, and yeah, and I mean, that's GG. Sacred sites were still ticking this whole time also. Yeah, it's really interesting. Demu, you know, played it well. So yeah, let me like break down how this, you know, the game again here real quick. We'll give the summary as maybe we hit the loading screen. Oh, it kicks me out of it. Oh, that's annoying. Anyways, so yeah, quick summary. Let me summarize that really quick. Number one, you know, CSOH, he picked English on Himeyama, which in my opinion is an extremely good civ choice. English is maybe the best civ in the game on that map, or it's like one of the top 5 civs on that map. But the reason why they're so good on that map is because villagers have a bow attack in age 1, which allows them to get control of the middle pond in age 1, and you build a dock and you make like 3, maybe 4 fishing boats, maybe only 2, make like 2 to 4 fishing boats, and basically you're up like 4 villagers at 3 minutes, and it's a huge buff to your economy. And then you kind of ride that eco advantage throughout the game. There's multiple things you can do after that, but you just have this early eco advantage. But shockingly, you know, CSOH, he did not go for the dock, so he just treated it like a land map, and he just went for a fast second TC. And as I said earlier, I think Malians is a direct civ counter to English on a land map. So it went from CSOH having a very good civ choice on the map to being a horrible civ choice and getting directly countered. So very weird to see, in my opinion. I think just some knowledge gaps right there, knowledge mistakes from CSOH to not already be aware of that information. And yeah, so Demu, I think he did the exact perfect build, you know, all the way till early castle. He went insanely greedy, all eco upgrades, all cows, you know, cow landmark, perfect. And from that spot, he was very far ahead. He had a huge advantage. And then it looked like he was going to go for the H3 sofa timing and then end the game, which I think if he did do that, he would have ended the game, you know, earlier, as I said. But for whatever reason, he decided not to. But like I said, he was so far ahead already that he just continued to ride his advantage. He went to imp, which I think was a mistake, but he still got to imp so much sooner than the English player that he was able to get elite upgrades on both of his army, both of his units, on the sofas and the Musfatis, and he was able to get not only the elite upgrades, he got like Tithe Barns, and then he built the university, and he got elite army tactics and had biology coming in. So meanwhile, the English player CSOH was kind of barely imp. I'm pretty sure he didn't have any imp upgrades during that fight. Like his spearmen and longbows were both still H3 spearmen, and you know, not being the elite version, being the veteran version, and he also did not have the blacksmith upgrades. So his army basically just got demolished since it was so far behind in upgrades. That Demu, he still kind of went for the timing, right? He went for like an imp timing attack, which is interesting. It did work out, but it was more risky in my opinion to go for that. But he did also have the sacred sites taking, you know, at the same time. Yeah. So I don't know. I guess that is my breakdown of that game one. Yeah, well played by Demu. Very strange. You know, as I said, just not doing the dock. It just literally didn't make sense. I'll very quickly give the rundown of how the dock strat would have went. So the English player would put all of his villagers on wood at the start of the game. He would send one villager forward to build the dock. And the Malian player wouldn't. He would have to ignore the dock. He would still do his normal age 1 because he's not going to build barracks. You can't really build barracks and kill the dock. It's just not going to work. Like maybe the Malian player would get up to age 2 and then he would maybe make a stable and do like warrior scouts to attack the dock. But by then, like the fishes have already paid off, and the English player can maybe make a warship to just push the scouts away. Most likely, Demu would have just like had to ignore the dock and kept doing. Demu probably still would have done the exact same thing, but the only difference would be that the English player would already have the eco from those like 4 fishing boats, and it would just put the English player in a better position. So yeah, that's it. That is game 1 in this best of 5. I may try to make videos for game 2 and game 3 and game 4 and whatever the rest of the series. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. I think I want to continue making videos like this where I kind of like hyper break down games from, you know, pro players, and, you know, do some very heavy analysis in the games. So I'm trying some things out on YouTube, but it depends on the response that I get, basically. So if you guys think I should keep doing this, like, leave comments, leave likes, like, I don't know, hopefully the view counts will go up on this video. You could share it, whatever, because, you know, it's the only way to know if people are enjoying it. I don't know, like, it's, you know, sometimes weird to ask people to comment and like and all that, but then it's hard to know if people enjoy it, if it's worth your time, because making these videos, you know, take time, and I'm always in the debate, like, okay, I want to be a pro player myself, like I'm trying to push top 16, top 20 or whatever. So you know, I'm always split on like, where do I put my focus? You know, grinding, do I try to do YouTube, do I try not to, do I focus on streaming? So I don't know, I'm just trying stuff out. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Alright guys, I'm out. Thanks for watching, I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.